The two movies I chose to compare and contrast for this assignment are Pee-wee's Big Adventures and The Bicycle Thieves. The Bicycle Thieves demonstrates a film stemmed from neorealism, the art of creating film based on reality, and focuses on the lives of Antonio and Bruno, who succumb to the poverty of living in post-war Italy. The entire movie circles around the search for one bike and features the significance a bike had on a family back then. According to the Medium, taking inspiration from Bicycle Thieves, Pee-wee's Big Adventure also circles around the desperate search for a singular bike. In the next scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Pee-wee pulls out a ridiculous and exaggerated amount of chains out of the trunk of his bike and ties up his bike to a post to ensure that nobody can take it. This scene shows how much the bike means to Pee-wee, as by the end of the scene, the bike is wrapped up in an absurd amount of chains, revealing how Pee-wee desires to protect the bike from any harm, even to the point of ridiculousness. The following scene from The Bicycle Thieves directly parallels Antonio's obsession for his bike with Pee-wee's obsession for his own bike. When Maria and Antonio go to sell their precious sheets in exchange for a bicycle, this represents the worth of the bicycle to Antonio. The bike is so valuable that Antonio and Maria are even willing to exchange their sacred sheets in order to obtain the bicycle. Although this scene and the scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure are not directly the same in composition or style, both have the same meaning in that they represent how much each character values their bike.
Sono di lino, lino e cotone, roba buona. Roba di corredo.
Sono usati.
4 sono usati. 2 sono nuovi.
Quanti pezzi sono?
6. 3 matrimoniali e 3 alla piazza.
E 3. 7.000.
7.000.
Non si potrebbe fare un po' di più. Sono usati. Beh, metti dentro sta roba. 7.500. Nome?
Ricci Maria. Palmelaina. Scala H, interno 1.
Interno 1. Uno, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Grazie, buongiorno.
È la bicicletta. 6.100. Perché? Interessi, siamo a 31. Ecco. È una Fides, vicino a quella rossa. Ce lo so. Un momento.
In the next scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventures, Pee-wee discovers his bike has been stolen and desperately runs to find help. His surprise and horror is illuminated by his fainting and the shock on his face. This scene directly correlates with the feeling of horror Antonio feels when his bike is stolen. According to the LA Times, the fact that Pee-wee fainted solidifies his shock and reveals how upset and frantic he is over his stolen bike. In the following scene from Bicycle Thieves, Antonio searches desperately for his bike after it is stolen. He hops onto a car and tries to follow the bike thief, but his attempt fails. The look of dejection falls all across his face, and he continues to look on to see where the thief could have possibly gone. This scene conveys a feeling of frustration and once again directly correlates to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The similar feelings that both movies convey when the main character's bike is stolen proves that Pee-wee's Big Adventure took inspiration from the Bicycle Thieves.
Monta! Vai che faccia, corri! Corri, dai! Corri! Avverti il tunnel, l'ho detto io! Corri! Che c'è? Beh, deve essere sbagliato, eppure ero proprio convinto che avesse preso da sta parte. Vabbè, me lo ricordi mai. Io mi fa.
Although these two movies prove similar in storyline and emotions, they take on different ends and subject matters. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a parody and focuses on humor, while The Bicycle Thieves is based on the sad reality of impoverished Italy during the post-war era. While Pee-wee's Big Adventure ends on a happy note, with Pee-wee eventually finding his bike, The Bicycle Thieves leaves audience struck with the reality that not all stories have happy endings. The reason behind both movies alters as well. Pee-wee's Big Adventures is meant to entertain and leave audiences happy. The adventure that Pee-wee goes through is meant to keep people on edge, wondering how Pee-wee will find his bike. While the adventure that Antonio and Bruno go through is for a similar reason, the purpose of Bicycle Thieves is to educate audiences on the actuality of Italy's post-war situation.